Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm going to be talking about how I make YouTube videos. For context, a little while ago, as in like just the other day, as of when I'm filming this, I put up a post on Instagram asking you guys for some questions for a Q&A video, which I will be putting out in the future. And a lot of these questions had to do with like what equipment I use and various other things that have to do with how I make YouTube videos and stuff of that nature. So I thought it might be fun and helpful to specifically address those questions in a specific video. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about what I use and how I make YouTube videos, and I hope that it will be fun and informative for all of you. This isn't like completely new territory. I do actually run an introduction to YouTube panel, which I have done at 2 conventions so far, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And the overarching kind of theme of that panel is to basically use what you have and don't be ashamed or afraid or, you know, reluctant to use what you have on hand, because tech is very expensive. You know, making videos with like super professional equipment is very expensive and not a reality for many people. And there's absolutely no shame in using whatever you have on hand, be it like an iPhone or a webcam or whatever. The most important thing is that you start creating. And that addresses one of the questions that I got, which is what is your main advice for new creators? And that is basically just to start. Most important thing you need to do is just start, because there's a lot of factors that will hold you back. For example, like I wanted to do regular YouTube videos like this since I was in high school. So it's been years and years and years, and it wasn't until exactly a year ago that I actually started doing it, and I'm so happy that I finally did. But yeah, the biggest thing I learned is that you have to kind of let go of perfectionism, you have to let go of like being nervous about you know, not having the right equipment, not knowing how to edit, stuff like that. The biggest thing that I learned is that you kind of have to let go of perfection, right? Like your first few videos, yeah, they're not going to be perfect, because just like with anything, you're going to start out at a certain point and you're going to get better with all the, you know, new videos that you create. And the most important thing is to start on that journey so that you can start your development and start improving. So the biggest tip I have for people who want to start YouTube is to just go for it. Don't worry about not knowing how to edit. Don't worry about not having fancy equipment. Whatever you have on hand, and you know, whatever kind of ideas, equipment, resources you have at your disposal, just use those and things will like develop and your skills will improve and your content will improve as you go. But that's not going to happen until you start. So that is the biggest thing that I tell people who are wanting to start YouTube. So that's going to kind of be a recurring theme throughout this video. So second question that I'm going to address is what kind of equipment I use. So the camera that I'm using right now is a Nikon D3100, which is a very old DSLR camera. It doesn't have like a line in for a microphone, it doesn't have a front flip display, it's quite an old camera, and it does definitely have its limitations, and that is part of kind of what held me back from making YouTube videos. I thought that I needed a fancier camera, but obviously I've been using it for a year now to do regular YouTube videos. I've made a whole bunch of YouTube videos, all of which I'm very happy with, so it does a really good job. So again, whatever you have on hand is totally fine, and the most important thing to do is to just go for it and start creating. The lens that I'm using is the kit lens that comes with the Nikon D3100. It is a wide angle lens, and that one I primarily use for video. I do have another lens, which is this 35mm portrait lens. So I've used this I think for one video, which was my toy collection video, when I wanted to get kind of like the more like close-up aesthetic, you know, short depth of field shots. But aside from that, I haven't used this lens just because it's not as good for video just with how much depth of field it has. I prefer using the wide angle lens. This one I use primarily for cosplay photography, and then the wide angle lens I almost never use for cosplay photography. So this is more of a photography lens, the way that I use it. As for a microphone, hey guys, I just use an iPhone. This is my dad's old iPhone before he upgraded to a new one, and he encouraged me to use it as a microphone, even though I was like, I need a fancier microphone. But he was like, no, you can just use the iPod and it will work totally well, and so far it has. Is it the best microphone I could use? No. Is it the one that I have on hand? Yes. So that's the one I'm going to use, and I hope that someday I will be able to get a new camera that has a line-in connection for a shotgun microphone, but as of right now, that's very expensive. That's not a reality for me, so I'm just working with what I have, and so far it has worked very well. Lighting me right now, I have 2 studio lights. I don't remember what they're called, so I'll go check that out. This is the box. These are actually my grandfather's, and he lets me use them. My grandfather is a sculptor, and so he bought these lights to take photographs of his sculptures, but he only uses them like once in a while, so while he's not using them, I get custody of them to make YouTube videos, and I'm so grateful. It has worked so fantastically. These are the Spectro LED SPE360B Essential 360 Bicolor LED lights. Yeah. They are two LED lights, and they have little diffusers on them, and they're super easy to set up. They're very portable, and what I really like is that since they're LEDs, they don't get hot, which is a problem that a lot of YouTubers have when they have lights. It gets really, really warm under the lighting, but I don't have that problem with these ones, which I am insanely grateful for. So yeah, I can't recommend these lights enough. They are utterly fantastic. And then sometimes, occasionally, I use these gels. These ones I got off of Amazon, and they were super cheap. I think it came in a pack. I can't remember how much the pack was, but it came to about $2 per gel. So they were super affordable, and I've had so much fun with them. I love using them for photography, and I, like I said, occasionally use them for my actual lighting setup for videos. I used them a lot when I did Pandaween, so when I was doing like my video game Urban Legends and like Halloween cartoon videos, I used primarily this purple gel. I love these gels so much. They kind of make you look like you kind of know what you're doing, and it makes you look like somewhat professional, even if you have no idea what you're doing. So if you can pick up a pack of gel lights, you will be very, very happy with them. So another question I got is what I use to edit my videos, and I just use iMovie, which is the free video editing software that comes with every Mac. I used to use a super old version of iMovie when I had my old iMac. It was just like so insanely old, and it's crazy now that I'm using the newest version. Even though it was majorly challenging to use, I still like worked with it, made it work. Learned a lot of hacks since iMovie is quite limited in comparison to something like Premiere or Final Cut Pro. I do have a background in using Premiere since I went to school partly for video editing, so we use Premiere for all of our stuff. You can do just about like anything with Premiere or Final Cut Pro, and iMovie in comparison is like very, very restricted, but you can still do a lot with it, and I haven't really faced any limitations with that software thus far. I've learned a lot of kind of little hacks that you can do to do certain things with graphics and stuff. So it is totally workable if that's all you have on hand. I'm very happy with it. Someday I would love to get something like Final Cut Pro, but Final Cut Pro is like $500, so that's not gonna happen anytime soon. But for right now, I'm very happy using iMovie. I'm very comfortable with it. So again, if that's all you have to work with, there's nothing wrong with that, and you can totally make a lot of cool stuff using iMovie. iMovie is quite underrated, honestly. It works very well. So that is what I use to edit my videos. Another question I got is, how do you keep coming up with ideas for videos? That's a very, very good question, and my answer to that is, just a second, is my handy dandy notebook. So this is basically my YouTube notebook. Whenever I have an idea for a video, or whenever there is a cosplay story that I want to tell, I just write it down. So this is like my cosplay story time page. So if there's a week when I want to do a cosplay story time and I can't think of one to do, I'll just take a look through this list, and I can choose an idea, and then whenever I'm done, I just cross it out. Yeah, for example, like this was my stupid things I've done for cosplay things, so I wrote down all of my ideas for that, and then when it was done, I just crossed it out. So basically, whenever I come up with a new idea for a video, I just write it down, and then if I'm having a week when I'm not sure what I'm going to do, I can just take a look through this notebook and decide what I'm going to do. And there are a lot of ideas in here, which is very, very helpful. So yeah, if I'm having kind of like, you know, I guess an art block, but like it's a video, so like a video block, I don't know what you want to call it. I just take a look through my journal and come up with like some ideas. So that's something that I strongly recommend for anybody wanting to do videos. Just take all of those ideas and just kind of vomit them into a book. And then even if you don't think that they're a workable idea, like there are a lot of ideas in here that like I probably won't ever do videos on. It's just kind of an idea that I think like later on, you know, not something that I necessarily want to do, but it's good to write it down. It's good to have it, you know, recorded so that you can pull from this when it comes time to make a video. Water break. This one is sort of relevant to YouTube, and that is, how do you manage to make and wear cosplays, do YouTube, as well as balancing real life? Which is a fantastic question. I'm sure that's something that is also daunting for people who want to start YouTube, like how do you balance it? And honestly, I guess I kind of want to say that I just don't do it very well. I work at 2 jobs, so I have like working full time, and then I typically have like one day off. So my one day off is always my filming day, and if I'm not able to film that day, I will find a time after work one day. Since I don't work like the entire day, I'll find a day when I can actually film. So I kind of just budget my time as well as I can and just kind of like plan my week accordingly. So, you know, I'll know when I'm not working, and then I always have to have my video up on Sunday mornings. So I just kind of, I guess, organize my time in a way that I can meet that deadline, if that makes sense. And sometimes there are busy weeks when I don't upload. I try and not upload, but sometimes, you know, it's just too much, and you just kind of have to recognize that like this is a week that I'm gonna have to skip. And then there are some weeks where I'm gonna be very pressed for time, so in those particular instances I'll do a video that isn't gonna take as much time. And then in other cases I also use my vlog footage as kind of a backup. So I know that like people don't like cosplay vlogs as much, which like is totally understandable, so I don't post them as often, but I kind of archive that footage and keep it as a buffer for when there's a week that I'm not able to film. I can just pull my vlog footage, put it together into a video, and then put it out. Except the only problem with that is that editing vlogs takes a whole lot longer than doing like a storytime video or something like that. But it's pretty much just comes down to like organization and time management and stuff. But it does get very challenging because like sometimes there are days, you know, when I get back from work and I'm supposed to do a video and I just don't have the energy, or I'm just like really stressed. There are days when like I film a video and I'm like really uptight because I'm just kind of like not in the right like zone. So I don't know, I don't really have a great answer to that. And yeah, I mean, YouTube is kind of like, you know, it will like editing, you know, I'll spend my evenings like editing instead of maybe like going out and hanging out with people. So like I think the answer to that question is that I don't balance all of it very well. But I enjoy what I'm doing, and it's always very, very rewarding to put up a video, and like it's very satisfying to like, you know, have your thumbnail, you know, you have this video that you put a lot of work into, and you finally get to like put it out into the world, and it, you know, even if people don't really watch it, it's still a very kind of rewarding experience. And you know, it's always very exciting. Like Sunday morning upload days are always very, very exciting, and it's awesome to see like week after week putting out something that you're proud of. So that's my answer. I don't think it's a very good one, but that's my answer. I think that's about it for this video. I think those are all the YouTube questions that I have to address. I hope this was helpful for some of you. If there is anything kind of else pertaining to YouTube that you guys would be interested in me talking about in the future, please be sure to let me know. I'm totally open to these things. Like if you guys want to know about like sponsorships, stuff like that, like I'm totally open to talking about that. So let me know. And yeah, hopefully I would really love to go to like different conventions and do my introduction to YouTubing panel. That would be awesome. So if you guys are ever interested in seeing that panel, if there's like a con in your area, you can always see if they're looking for guest panelists, because like I'm totally happy to run panels at like other conventions, but it kind of depends on if the convention itself is looking to like invite people to do other panels. But I don't know, maybe that's something that you guys would be interested in. I'm not sure. But anyway, I really appreciate I really appreciate you guys. I can't talk. I really appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with me today. Again, I hope that this was insightful, helpful, interesting, what have you. And again, if there's anything else relating to YouTube that you guys want me to talk about in the future, be sure to let me know. I'll see you guys all next time. But until then, pin faces, please be sure to take care. Bye. Oh, I kicked the box. That was gonna be like a seamless outro, and then I kicked the box. What gives? Okay, bye.